I'm not really happy because of what is going on. Permit me, I'm not going to be talking about food today. I'll be talking about relationship. In fact, specifically abusive relationships, and most especially as it pertains to the church. I'll be talking to the church. So I apologize ahead. So, pardon me, okay? Today I'm not doing cooking. The first time I saw an abusive relationship, or the first time I witnessed a woman being abused physically by a man, was in the church. I was in the primary school, I think primary 5 or so, not primary 5 or primary 6. This woman came for a church program and was praying. Then I think the husband traveled abroad and came back, and maybe he didn't meet her at home and decided to come look for her in the church. And lo and behold, the woman was in the church and she was praying. And this they landed the woman hot beating. And I saw him dragging her on the floor out of the church. Luckily, some members of the church came to her rescue. They rescued her from the man and took her to somewhere safe within the church. It didn't stop there. The man went home and was like, when you finish in the church, you meet me at home. And the man went home. And I remember that evening, in fact, it was my dad and some people that took the woman to back home to, like, okay, let's take her home. At least if the man sees us, he will calm down and, relax. To their surprise, the man shot at them, double barrel, opened fire on them. No, I can't remember how that issue was resolved, but I was a child and I saw that it happened in the church. And recently, this week, I've been hearing abusive relationships. In fact, I know some people that are in abusive relationships and I've tried to encourage or talk them out of it. But, they're always adamant. This week, a lot of stories of a spouse setting up another spouse on fire, stabbing the other spouse, beating up the other one to death. Everything turns or surrounds around abuse. And I'm wondering, is it that people don't see? And the worst thing, the church encourages abuse. I'm sorry to say it, the church is encouraging abusive relationships in the name of God does not support divorce. Does God support abuse? Does God support a spouse beating up a spouse? Does God support physical harm on a spouse? I mean, it's high time the church came out and started telling people the truth. Marriage is not an achievement, it's not an excuse. Even if you don't get married, you can still live your life and be fulfilled. So, stories of this abound, and this recent one that just happened that have shattered my heart. A woman that has been a gospel artist ministering to many people. I've read people's testimonies. Some people gave their life to Christ just listening to that woman's song or hearing her voice sing. Even musicians have used her music on international stages, even to the American Idol stage. I've seen a lady perform that song, Ekweme, on an international scale. So her voice have been blessing people. But then, some people that are close to her know very well that she has been suffering and smiling. And I don't know if the church knew about this and they kept quiet. And that's where my anger is on the church. If it's not working, help her come out or help that person come out of the relationship. That's the work of the church. Help the person stay alive so that he or she can fulfill the purpose God created him or her. The church has led so many people to their early grave in the name of endure. Is part of the suffering we must suffer for Christ. It's not true. Even Jesus, when he came into the temple, he saw them and said, "You've turned this place to a den of robbers." He used cane and flogged everybody out. Does not condone. There are some things you won't condone. He would have told them you have to endure it, and it's part of it. But it's evil. Evil is evil. He condemned it. So why is it that when it comes to the evil of abuse, the church will keep quiet and not condemn it? That's my problem with the church. I'm a church kid, I'm a pastor's kid. So when I say this, I'm saying it with authority because I've witnessed a lot of this going on in the church. I don't want to know what's going on in the secular world or in the society. As a journalist, I see a lot of that too. But then in the church that's supposed to speak up for the common man, the church that's supposed to speak up for that person that is being abused, the church that's supposed to help that person out will now keep quiet and be encouraging the person to get more abused the more. As in, I don't understand. The church has failed in this. No matter how many souls they've won for Christ, for that one soul that they are allowed to perish, they have failed. They have failed. Even the Bible says, the parable Jesus gave said, the parable of the lost sheep. He said, a shepherd has 100 sheep, and all of them are just, eating and grazing, and one went missing. One out of the 99, out of the 100, sorry. It's remaining 99. The shepherd could have said, okay, one, well, the risk is low, let me allow it. But he still went after that one flock, that one sheep that went missing, and bring it back to the flock. That's the work of the church. One person that you've caused to die out of abuse, you have failed millions of other Christians. Whether you like it or not, no matter how many souls you've won, that one you allowed to die out of abuse. Because I can bet you, when someone is being abused, the person will definitely sin against God somehow, either in thought or word, because she must have thought about a lot of things. She must have been depressed for a long time. She must have spoken, and the church will hush it down in the name of endure. And a lot of things psychologically, emotionally will be going on in her mind. Her sanity would have not been intact, even though she will still gather herself and minister. But now I understand why she was even, oh God, it's now I feel her pain in those songs. Because when I listen to those, I'm like, now I see she was singing out of the heart of nobody wants to help me. Even the church has failed me. That's why she was singing all those songs with all her energy, because that's the last breath. Her voice was the only thing she has to fight back. But the church could not even help that voice. I'm sad. I'm sad. I'm sad. The church has failed. We have to admit it. And the earlier we start speaking up, the better for the church. If not, I did a movie recently on this topic. How can a man be beating up his pregnant wife? And you call it love, or you call it anger, or you call it, I don't know, whatever excuse you want to call it. And how can you as a woman or a girl have a boyfriend or in a relationship and somebody is slapping you, beating you, and calling you names, unprintable names, and you say it's love? No, 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 no. The food you don't eat, you don't need to taste it. If you know you don't want it, you don't need to even go into it in the first place. And if you find yourself in it, come out. Forget what the society will say. I know that's the usual excuse. What will people say? What will my friends say? What will my family say? Let them talk. It's better you are alive and sane, fulfilling your destiny, than you are suffering and smiling. I just have to stop here. Oh God. what will it cost the church to say the truth? And that truth is, marriage is not an achievement. What will it cost the church to say the truth? And that truth is, you can come out of an abusive relationship or marriage and still be okay. What will it cost the church to say the truth? And that truth is, whether you are single, you are divorced, or you're married, or whichever thing you are, whether you go to heaven, it does not affect whether you make it in heaven or whether you have a fulfilled life. Why can't the church tell people this truth? Paul remained single. Did he kill somebody? Did anything change? Did his fulfillment of his purpose and ministry change? No. Some other disciples were married. Did any of their fulfillment of their purpose change? No. So why will the church hide this truth from people? If you're married and you feel you've made mistake, come out. It's not a do or die affair. Forget what people will say. I'm really sad and unhappy with the church. I'm angry with the church, let me put it that way. Because the church has led so many people to their grave. And we have no excuse. The church cannot defend itself here. The only way the church can make amends is to start speaking up. When they bring that case of a man beating up his wife or a woman beating up her husband to your table as a pastor, you have to defend the defenseless. If it means breaking that marriage, you have to do it. If you don't want to do it, then gather boys, hefty men, and let them go and retaliate and beat that same man to stupor, so he will feel the pain of that woman. And when you do that, I think his head will reset. If it's Nigerians, they will say they will reset, reformat your head back to factory setting. But if the church is not willing to do that, help the woman or the man come out of the marriage. Some of these men are even deacons, holding church positions, deacons, committee members, and so on and so forth in the church, and will laugh and laugh. I told some people that marriage issue is not spiritual issue. It's something you have to deal with physically. If a man is abusing his wife physically, the solution is deal with the man physically. Arrest the man. If you don't want to arrest the man, gather boys. Let them show him sample of how it looks when you beat a woman. Let them show him also the sample. Yes. But if you're not ready to do that, hand him over to the authorities. Help the woman get a divorce and be separated and have her peace of mind. Which one is suffering and smiling? I know so many pastors in Nigeria that are divorced and separated, and they are still preaching the gospel. Their members did not drop. Things are still going on normal. So if those pastors are still doing their normal life and they didn't sin, it's not sin as sin or before God, why would we, some pastors, now use it as excuse to keep another man or another woman in an abusive relationship? I'm not here to judge, but I'm just stating facts as I see it. So, two things is it to one, and okay, another thing is those abusers have a way of caging, coercing, and suppressing their victim. They have a way of what's the word now? Is it intimidation? They have a way of I can't get the right word, but I know you people understand what I'm saying. And how do they do this? By cutting the person off his or her friends, people that the person can speak to, and threatening the person. If you talk, I will kill you. If you do this, I will kill you. If you tell anyone, I'll kill you. If you tell the pastor is my friend. If you tell, how can somebody be boasting that even if you like report me to the church committee, I have them, the church committee cannot do anything. And truly the church committee cannot do anything because the church is weak, the church has failed. Eh? I heard somebody saying that if threatening his wife, that if the wife reports him to the church council or to their marriage sponsor, those people cannot even control him, you know. Oh no, the church, you have failed. Even if you have not failed anybody, you have failed me. Because my first experience of abuse, witnessing an abusive relationship was in the church. And at this age now, I'm over 40 and I'm still witnessing another one. And rumors has it that it's in the church. I don't want to know. I know it happens in other places, but I'm concerned about the one that happens in the church. May all the souls of all the people that have died in an abusive relationship rest in peace. My heart is actually heavy, so heavy. The church have to stand up, irrespective of the denomination, irrespective of your denomination. The church has to stand up and speak out and be more practical about it. This is not about, they should have a desk on every church once that will report, that will have cases of abuse handled, and how they will handle it is not by the church. Handle it with appropriate authorities, either with police or with security outfit. If you see, I'm being objective here. My two opinion is there should be there are human rights groups that help these people. If the church is not ready to take their cases to these human rights groups, then they have failed. Take it to these human rights groups, take it to the police. If you don't want to do that, then get that boys and go and deal with the person, show the person sample. Let people come forward and speak. People are not coming out to speak because the church that they trusted that would defend them is even helping to suppress them. And that's why people are not speaking up. Now the woman is dead now. People are now running helter-skelter, sharing text messages, sharing chats, sharing voice notes and other things. Why didn't they share it when this thing was happening? Why? Where are the children? Can they ask the children? It's simple. If you want to find out the truth, if you ask the two couple, ask their children, ask their relations, ask their neighbors, people living with them, people living around them. Ask. There's no how you ask all these people questions as a church, you will not know the truth. And when you know the truth, when you see a recalcitrant man, you will know, or a recalcitrant woman, you will know. And when you see that the marriage or the relationship has got to that stage, call it quits. The church should help. Like I said, the church has failed. Even if it's one person that the church allowed to die out of abuse, the church has failed. Jesus said the shepherd went for one sheep out of the 100 and left the 99 just to save one. The church has failed us. We allowed one person to die out of abuse. And the church has to retrace their step now. If not, all the gospel we're preaching will just be waste. All the gospel of salvation we're preaching is just waste because of one person that we're allowed to die or one person we're allowed to suffer. It's just waste.